The good news is I've absolutely loved it.
How much have you watched?
The bad news is they only gave me 5. So I'm desperate. I am desperate because I have been left hanging. Trying to describe it to other people, it gives me a flavour of the first Mission Impossible mixed with the best of Alec Guinness's Tinker Tailor, plus a splash of Bond. It seems to have all of those wonderful
It sounds like
flavours.
it doesn't know what it is.
But that's the fantastic thing for me is it's so great telling this story over in long form storytelling rather than having to do it in a 2-hour film. How's that been for you?
I think that's why you do it. When we, it was part of the Universal family, the rights of the original. We adored the original. And we sat on it for a long time, kind of, deciding what we want to do with it. How do we lean into this in long-form television? What new can we bring in? We decided early on we didn't want to do a copy of the original. We want to do something contemporary. And then it is leaning into long-form television, that bigger canvas, and what new can we say?
And what's it been like trying to organise filming this across Europe? Because basically the scale of this is, Bond-type scale, but it's obviously you've got all the locations to get in order and everything like that. How's that been to organise?
Yeah, it's been a very, very complex show to organise with units working in Hungary and Croatia and Austria and London. So it has been pretty complex, but we've been working for a long time now out in Hungary and Budapest, so we have very good production partners there, and we're very used to working there. So we went to a sort of quite a familiar hub because it was going to be a very complicated show to execute. And you just approach each day at a time and each set of problems, and you sort that problem out, and then the next day there's another. It's just how you do it.
Have there been anything particularly unique challenges to overcome with this one, or have they been fairly predictable within a range?
They're always the challenges are always the same, but some are completely different. Yeah. I can't really explain what I mean by that, but.
And what's it been like also having Frederick involved in this, because he's been involved at consultancy level? Has he observed from afar or been participated quite a lot in the process?
We haven't worked that closely with him. It's we spoke to Freddie right at the beginning when we introduced him to Ronan, the writer, for some early conversations, but. We haven't, we've gone off and done our own thing with that fantastic source material and with his blessing, I would say. But all that said, you're going to see him this evening, and we're absolutely delighted that he's here. And what an extraordinary thing, he came up with that story in the late 1960s, couldn't sell it to anyone because for the reasons it's like everyone, about the ending, and managed to get it published, and it's a property that still people talk about, and it's got now hopefully a whole other lease of life.
That's the amazing thing about the story, is it's still so relevant, and you've taken the essence of the original and brought it into a more modern day context, and it's just as relevant now as it was then.
Yeah, I think the great thing is, as a title, it's well known, even if people don't know the source material. It's in society, it's got value as a brand. And then if you know the original, there's little kind of Easter eggs throughout the show that are a homage to the original movie, but it's completely new and a contemporary version.
And just quickly, a word about your international partners, because you use Peacock in the US and Sky and now over here. How's that been to having their support behind the whole project?
It's been very seamless, actually, because we're all part of the same media group. Our company is owned by Universal. Peacock is their streaming service in the US, as you know, and Sky is a huge European entity. So it's actually all been within the same company, which has been a lot of the work has been quite joined up, particularly on the marketing and PR side of things. So it's worked well.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. It's been fabulous, and I can't wait to see the last 5.
I hope they get to you soon.
Me too. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey you guys.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!